welcome back to my channel, and today is a chat and tea video because I don't drink coffee, so I could call it coffee and chat, but I don't drink coffee, so it has to be a tea and chat video. Anyway, welcome to the video. My name is Rachel. I am a solo mum to one, and I had a comment on one of my videos the other day, and she was watching a few of my older videos. I think she was watching my eating disorder video. If you haven't seen that, I'll link it in the description box below. And she was saying how much she really enjoyed kind of like my sit down story times, talking about my life, and she'd like to see more. And I thought, I haven't done one of those videos for a really long time. I've got my weekly vlog, I've got my shopping haul I put up every Friday, and on a Wednesday, it's a bit like whatever I feel like recording really. So I thought, do you know what? Why don't I do a little tea and chat video? And the video that followed that one was a weekly vlog, and I was talking about me being lonely, feeling a bit sad, that I have no friends, that, you know, I don't have anybody that I could just go and have a coffee with. And I had so many lovely comments, and some of you offered to like always be there for me and I can reach out to you at any time. And I'm so filled with joy over the fact that I've never met any of you and you still offer a hand to be there if I need you. And sometimes people on the internet can be really, really cruel, but other times people on the internet can be really, really nice. So I'm taking the positive. So I thought, why don't I do a quick video and talk about my journey of having friendships from when I was really small all the way to now, and why that was one of the reasons that led me to go and get an autism diagnosis, which is still ongoing. But if you know about the autism and ADHD waiting list, I could be waiting a very long time. But I am trying to save money to go private. But also, if you are aware, that's not cheap. So I have to keep putting money to a side, but then usually kind of something happens in life that you need to use that money for. You know how it goes, don't you? It's just life, isn't it? So I thought I would do a video today on talking about why I don't have any friends over the age of 40. And I'm sure there are many people out there over the age of 40 or 30 that don't have any friends. And that even though it can get lonely, it's all right. It's absolutely fine not to have any friends sometimes. It's not a problem. It's okay. You don't have to be surrounded with friends to think you've made success in life. But let me start from the beginning. That sounded very kind of like Disney. Let me start from the beginning. Hot, 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 hot. It was too hot. I should have waited. Anyway, I was looking into my son having ADHD, and that's, if you've watched any of my videos, you know the challenge that I've had with that. And if you want me to go a bit further into that, then do let me know and I'll do another video on that as well. And as I was doing his assessment online, the free assessments you can do, I noticed that there was a lot of things that I do as well. So I did the adult ADHD assessment, and it turned out that I was quite high up. So I thought, my son is a struggle because you have to get so many people on board to help you, but I'm a grown adult, so I thought I'm just going to go and speak to the doctor, the nurse, and see what my next steps are. Anyway, they referred me. I had my phone calls, I had some in-person meetings as well, and one of the phone calls, they said, could we just do a quick 10-minute autism test and see if that's something else that we can look at, because by talking to me, they think I might have autism. So anyway, they then said that if I got over a mark of 8, it's highly likely that I've got autism. If it's under 8, then I probably haven't, but may have small traits of it. So that's what they've told me. I'm sure people are going to disagree with that, but I'm just going with what my mental health assessment talked to me about. And I was 8. So I was quite high up there on the autism spectrum. So then they asked me to go for an in-person test, and that is where I am at the moment. I've done that. They've referred me onto the waiting list. I've had the confirmation that I am officially on the waiting list. So now, again, like a waiting list, it's a waiting game. But one of the things that was on that assessment, that questionnaire, was, have you ever struggled to have friends? And straight away, my answer was yes. I then got another questionnaire, a paper went through that I had to fill out, and it was asking me to speak to a family member from like my childhood. So obviously I went and spoke to my mum, and I was asking her about my journey with friendships when I was little and what she noticed. My mum said that when we went to playgroup, not nursery, no, playgroup, that's what it was back then. Back in the 80s, it was a playgroup. It was in a church hall, and you just went to like a little stay and play, but that was all you had. There was no nursery back then. And we went to playgroup, and all the mums were still there, but they sat in another room, or they sat in the kitchen helping with teas and coffees, and some helpers would actually take us in and play with us. And my mum said that I was always on my own. There was all these group of people, and I would always sit on the side on my own. And when people were trying to get me more involved with the kids, I was very reluctant. I would stay next to like the assistant. I wouldn't kind of leave her side. And if she ever did leave, I was always looking around wondering where she was. And I always then look at my mum if she was in the kitchen just for the reassurance. When they finally got me outside to play with other people, apparently I really struggled to interact with them, or I would completely take charge of the whole situation, which made the other kids a little bit dubious of me and therefore wouldn't play with me. Obviously, this was when I was like 3 or 4. I can't remember any of it, but this is what my mum used to say. So I never really had any friends. I then went to school, and in the first reception and infant school, I had one friend called Nicole, and I vaguely remember her, and then she just disappeared. Unfortunately, Nicole had cancer and she passed away when she was 5 years old. So she was my only friend, and then she was gone, just disappeared. And then I was told that she died, but obviously I was really young, and around the same time my granddad died as well. So I was 5. I just didn't really know what was going on. But after that, my mum said that I used to befriend one person, used to be friends with that person for months, and then all of a sudden, I wouldn't be friends with them anymore. And sometimes that was me. I just didn't want to bother anymore for no reason, just stopped wanting to be friends. And other times, it was the person that didn't want to be friends with me. And I couldn't ever understand why. It's not until I got older that I kind of started putting the little pieces together, which I'll go through it in a bit. Then we went to junior school, and again, the same thing happened. I would have one specific best friend. I wouldn't be friends with her for a while. Then I'd go to somebody else, and I'd go to somebody else, and I would just kind of flitter. I never had one friend that has been my friend for life. Now, my brother is, oh God, how old is my brother? 44. I'm 42 this year, so he'll be 44 in November. Now, he went to secondary school and he met some friends there, and he is still friends with them now. So he's been friends with them since he was 11, and this year he is 44. And I've known them since I was 9, and I still look at them like they're my big brothers, and they're really protective and they're really loving, and I rarely see them, but when I do, I'm always little sister. So it's so lovely, and I absolutely adore every one of them, even if I don't see them very often or at all, but they're really, really nice. And when I broke up with my ex-husband, I did have one of them come to me and say, "Are you all right? Do I need to beat anyone up?" And I was like, "No, we're good. There's no need for violence, we're good." But it was just like a normal big brother reaction, you know. So I've had them in my life, but I'll go into that when I get to secondary school. But when it was junior school, I did exactly the same thing. I then started dancing. I've been dancing all my life. I've been dancing since I was 4. And I finished dancing when I was 34. But when I went to junior school, I started a new dance school because my one closed down because she was retiring. And I had no friends in that dance school whatsoever. None at all. Again, I would talk to a few people, but I wouldn't actually have a friend there. And that was all through my infant and my junior school. And then came secondary school, and then everything went rapidly downhill. So in secondary school, I was severely bullied for the entire secondary school life. I was beat up a couple of times. I was called names, and I went a whole school year without one single person talking to me, not one. And it was the year that my brother had just left school. So my brother was always 2 years above me. When my brother left school, that year was when not one person spoke to me. So I spent every single day in school in complete silence with no conversation. I then went dancing straight from school. I would catch the bus and do dancing for 3 hours. Then my dad would collect me and then I would go and do gymnastics for another 2 hours. And I did that pretty much 5 days a week. And then I do dance shows and competitions at the weekend. But even then, in my dance company, I was severely bullied in the dance school as well. But I loved dancing so much and I was really good at it. Not the best, but I was good at dancing that I still went. I still put up with all the bullying because I loved it so, so much. But yeah, I was bullied quite a lot from the first year of senior school or high school, all the way through till the very last year. I then went to sixth form, and a couple of the bullies that were bullying me in school also went to sixth form, and it continued. One of the days in sixth form, I was actually walking out of school and one of the gates had come off. So there was a prong sticking out and someone pushed me into that prong and I scraped all my leg, and then I quit sixth form. I didn't go back. That was it. That was my education finished. After that, I did home study, online courses. I paid for courses and went out and I became a qualified fitness instructor, qualified personal trainer, qualified massage therapist. And then since then, I've also become a nail technician, but I don't do it anymore because it bores me. It bores me. I'm also a Reiki master, I'm a menopause coach, and I'm a nutrition coach as well. And I also know how to do tarot. And I'm a life coach as well, but I'd never have the confidence to be a life coach. So I just did it in the hope that it would help me, and it did. And one day, maybe that is something that I would love to do in the future, is be a life coach, but I just don't think I have the confidence to do it right now. But I studied all of those things after finishing school all the way up until last year. And I stopped studying for a little while and took a break. But I prefer to study in my own time rather than school. So I never made any friends. And then I started work and I started making friends. But again, those friends were just there for a few months and they would go off. I wouldn't talk to them anymore. They wouldn't talk to me anymore. And then I had one really good friend, and then she went off with my brother. So that was that friendship done. And all the other friends have just always been the same. I've met them through work or I've met them through doing something else, and they're really good friends. You spend loads of time together, always talking, always chatting, going out and having nights out and meals out and just really having a good time. And then all of a sudden, neither of us would talk to each other again. There'd be no argument. It would just stop. I had one friend for about 8 years. She was my best friend for 8 years. She was my maid of honour at my wedding. And then I got married and my life took a whole different journey. And then my nephew passed away and then my son was born and we just lost touch, and I haven't really spoken to her since. I think I've spoken to her once since I got married, and I would have been married 10 years this year if I was still married to him. So that's kind of like my journey with friendships. When I had my son, I did make a few more friends at the mum and baby groups. Again, same thing happened. I thought as I was older, I'd be able to keep friendships a little bit more. But again, no. Just, we were friends, we were really good friends. We'd go out with the kids. We would go and do stuff, go to the park. We spend loads of time together. And then gone. Just gone. And ever since then, I think my son was about 3 when that happened. I've not had friends since. So I have the odd friend that I'll go and see every now and again. I usually have male friendships more than female friendships because, like I said before, my brother has had his friends since he was 11. They were always in and out of the house. They would literally just walk in, not invited, just walk in, put the kettle on, have a biscuit, come and sit down. And even if my brother wasn't here, they would still do it. I remember one of his friends just brought his motorbike round the back one Sunday afternoon. My brother wasn't even here. He just come in, plonked himself on the sofa, made himself a cup of tea and started having a chat with me and my mum and dad. And because of that, and because I always felt like I've grown up with 6 brothers, even though I've only got one, I feel like I've grown up with them. I was always beat up. I was blamed. I was put on the shed roof and left there. They put salt and vinegar in my ice cream. They put pepper on in my lemonade. Do you know what I mean? They did proper sibling stuff, and I loved every second of it. It was absolutely brilliant to have that time and to have those memories with them. They were my best memories. And I have a few male friends now, and they are just friends. But everybody thinks that because you've got a male friend that you are sleeping with them or you're with them. And it's like, well, no, I'm not. He is just my friend. That is all he is. It's just a friend. And we get on really, really well. But I don't feel like I can go and see him as much because everyone thinks that we're together. And then I think I'm 41. If I can't have a male friend and I'm worrying about what people think, then there's a problem. So I decided to keep him as my friend. I don't see him very often. We talk all the time on WhatsApp or on Facebook Messenger, but we don't really see each other very often. We see each other once every few months. But when we do, it's like I'm talking to him like I only left him yesterday, you know? And they're really good friends to have. But I don't see him all the time because he's busy with his life and I'm busy with my life. But I don't have that one constant friend that I can talk to. And there are people at the school gates, and I get on well with a few of the mums, but I don't feel like I know them well enough to be able to open up about things that I'm worried about or concerned about, or feel that, you know, I can confide in them, if that makes sense. So when I started looking into autism, one of the things in autism was about friendships and how autistic people really struggle to have friends. And one of the things is that sometimes when friends just leave you, is because you say something quite blunt, very to the point, but you're unaware of what or how you said it to upset them. And rather than them communicate with me what I said and how I made them feel, I am unaware of me speaking that way. So I spoke to my mum about it and I spoke to my dad about it, and both of them went, yeah. And I was like, oh, what's that mean? And they said, you do it all the time. You're very to the point. You say it as it is. You're very blunt. You don't even realise how or what you're saying. You just say it. And then you just think that it's absolutely normal for people to talk that way, where actually I'm upsetting them and I'm none the wiser. And then I start overthinking things like, what did I say? What did I do? And it could be, I'm not actually diagnosed with autism yet, but I am on the waiting list. I mean, I'm high chance that I have it. Makes sense. All the times that I've never been able to keep a friendship. Because one of the things as well that I've researched about friendships and autism is that some people, is that being autistic, if I am autistic, could be that I don't communicate with people very well. And I don't communicate with people very well. I'm absolutely rubbish at communicating with anybody. So if you message me on Facebook or Instagram or anything like that, I probably won't reply to you for ages because I look at it, forget about it, and then I think, oh crap, like this person messaged me like 6 days ago and I haven't messaged them back. Communication is really important in friendships, and I just kind of yeah, whatever. I just didn't ever take the time to communicate with someone. Now, if you comment on my YouTube, I have a routine because I have to live in a routine. If I don't, I can't function the day. If there's not a list of every single thing that I have to do, from having a workout, having a shower, drying my hair, it is that detailed of my list of what I need to do. I literally can't function throughout the day. I'll just sit there thinking, I have no idea what to do. And then I'll just be lost. I feel completely empty and lost. So in my regular routine, it is like, check my emails, reply to comments, do this, do that. So it's always on my list of things to do. But other than that, I don't communicate very well. And communication in friendship is actually very important, as I have recently found out, which is probably why I've never been able to hold down a relationship. My longest relationship was my ex-husband. We were together 7 years, married 15 months, and then we divorced. So that didn't last either. But it just, when I was researching it, I just felt like all the pieces started being put into place. Like I'd start making the puzzle look a little bit more normal. Now, again, I've not been diagnosed yet. I don't know if I am, but I think there is a strong chance that I am autistic. And just by looking at what people are saying on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, or doing my personal research myself, like looking at the science of everything, a lot of it resonates with me, and a lot of it, by reading it, has helped me put the pieces of my life back together again and understand who I am and the reason why I've never been able to hold down a friendship. So it is a bit scary, because you're like, I am 42 this year and I've got no real friends, no one that I can really confide in, and just wondering if I'm going to go my whole life that way. And I don't want my son to feel that he needs to be my friend, or he needs to make sure that I'm always okay. And if he does, I'm going to be kicking his backside out the door and saying, go and live your life. Just go and live your life. Go and have fun. Go and explore. Go and see the world. Go and do whatever you want to do. Call me once a week and tell me everything you can about it, so that I can still be part of your life. But the reason of being a parent is to bring somebody in the world, raise them, teach them right from wrong, guide them, and then send them out into the world knowing that they've got all the tools that they could possibly have. And if I haven't given them one, they can always come back and I can help them through the next stage. Their job as my child is not to look after me. That's my job. It's my responsibility to put finances in place for my future. It's my responsibility to take care of myself, not my son. So I'll be kicking him out the door. But it is a worry, because he's very protective of me, that he's not going to live his life because he has to feel that he needs to be around me because he doesn't want me to be lonely. It won't happen, because I won't let it, but that is a worry that I have. But that is the reason why I feel that I don't actually have any friends, and why I've always struggled with friendships. So some people will say it's autism. Some people will say I'm just a cow and I'm just mean and I'm just not a nice person. That's okay. And some people have said that it's trauma. Trauma and autism could be both, could be one or the other. I could just not be a nice person. It could be one of them. But there is a lot of trauma in my life, all the way back from when I was a child, all the way up to where I am now. But who doesn't have trauma, really? Everyone has trauma. But maybe I haven't released it. Maybe I'm holding on to it subconsciously and it's causing all of this. Who knows? It could be autism. Again, until I get the test done and I possibly get the diagnosis that I am autistic, I'll be able to look into it a little bit more. But what do you think? What do you think? Do you think it's trauma? Do you think it's autism? Or do you think I'm just not nice? And if you say I'm not nice, that's okay. That's fine. Or do you struggle to have friends too? Have you struggled to have friends all your life like I have? Or have you struggled to have friends once you become a mum and your life took a different path? Do let me know. And also let me know if you are still friends with your high school friends or your senior school friends. Are you still friends with them, or have you all lost touch and you've made new friends through your kids' school or through work or whatever else you may kind of do as a hobby? Let me know in the comments below, just out of curiosity, and just it's nice to get to know you all. So I hope that you've enjoyed this tea and chat with me about friendships. I'd love to know your thoughts. I'm understand that not everyone's going to feel the same way I do. I understand that people might not think I've got autism, and that's absolutely fine. But even if I haven't, at least I've ruled it out, and I know that that's not something I have, and it's something else that I need to kind of delve into and try and resolve, so I can be the best person I can be, and I can be the best mum I can be to my son. So I am going to go. I'm going to finish the rest of my tea, and I'm going to go and get on with a little bit of work for the rest of the day. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, don't forget to give me that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos from me. I hope whenever you're watching this, you're having a good morning, good day, or good evening, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.